Hey everybody, thank you for joining for another episode of Coffee with Max. Today is episode number 25, which is kind of cool. And it's also Halloween, so happy Halloween. Hope it's very spooky. Today I wanted to talk about something that I've struggled with as a musician for a very long time, and I think a lot of people do also. And it's this barrier, for lack of a better word, between what you're doing and what you think you should be doing as a musician. So if you're a musician today, you probably look up to some of the really incredible musicians, high tier musicians, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, like all the pop artists, Post Malone, Justin Bieber, all those guys. And you look at them and you think, wow, they could literally snap their fingers and stuff happens. They're famous, they're rich, they're popular, their music is great. And the alternative right now, there's that. And then there's kind of the hobbyist or side gig musician, and there's really no in between. It's really hard to be in that in between section. I'm involved with this company called Indie Advance. Definitely check them out. And they are trying to define this middle class for musicians. It's a really interesting concept. So I didn't come up with that. That's Indie Advance. And I think we really need a middle class. It feels like there's such a difference there, such a rift there. Anyway, so what I want to talk about is you don't need to be Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber or any of these people to be successful as a musician. And you don't even need to play gigs to be successful as a musician. You don't need to record. You don't need to put out singles. You don't have to do any of this stuff. You don't even need to be successful if you don't want to. And it really just boils down to whose definition of success you're looking to. Is it your definition of success, or is it the general population's definition of success? Because that's a huge difference. So, for example, take an actual hobbyist musician who works a day job and owns a guitar and writes songs and sings. He's done. That's it. You did it. You made it. There's no reason to feel obligated to play a show if you don't want to, or record if you don't want to. If you get value just from playing music on your guitar, you can be the worst guitar player in the world and you won. You did it. You're happy. You're successful. You're finished. I think it's so easy to get discouraged when you're, practicing your bass or your guitar or something, and you're like, well, why am I doing this? What is the ultimate goal? And then you look at it, and the ultimate goal is up there right now. It's kind of what it feels like. And it's just not the case. So I would really recommend trying to get creative with this stuff. I look at my peers around me and I see the stuff they're doing. And it's so cool. My buddy Taylor, for example, he wrote an entire drum set book on the left foot, on the hi-hat. Nobody's done that before. It's really creative. He actually just got that published through Hudson Music. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. They're putting it on their website along a bunch of other great drummers like Benny Greb, Jojo Mayer's up there. He's now at the same tier with those guys. It's awesome. That's like a really successful thing, but is down here. It's not playing sold out shows or anything like that, but that's awesome. And speaking of which, I bet you anything, Benny Greb and Jojo Mayer, they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. I would bet money. I bet you that they're making ends meet however they can and doing their thing and enjoying it. Yeah, and we look up to those guys, and I bet you anything, they're just kind of figuring it out for themselves also. So my recommendation, this is something I'm trying to work on too, is figure out where you want to be, what your definition of success is as a musician. What does that actually look like? Maybe you want to put out an album and you want it to be popular locally. That's awesome. That's a great goal to have. Maybe you want to play one of your original songs out live. That's something I've never done. I've never had one of my originals played or performed live by a band. They're all recorded. That's a great goal to have. Maybe you want to find a way for your music to make money, and not necessarily just make money for you, but maybe you want to raise money. You look at Quincy Jones and what he did with We Are the World. It's amazing. You can use music for so many things. It's this amazing tool, this amazing vehicle that you can drive wherever you want, honestly. So think about it. If your goal is to make money from music, you say, okay, what does music have to offer? And then who has money to offer? You can kind of put those two things together. So for example, movies, right? Say you wrote an original song and you think it would fit really well in a film. So you start reaching out to people. Maybe you start really small, but now you have one goal. Your one goal is, I want my song to be in a film. And you ask around, and maybe you do some stuff for free. Maybe you provide music for free. You talk to your filmmaker buddies. Maybe you make a film just to start building up. And one thing leads to another. You've done music for a couple of short films, and one of them gets into Sundance or something like that. Like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Somebody hears your music at Sundance and like, wow, where is that music from? You've made sure to get credits on everything, and next thing you know, you're scoring a feature-length film, right? When you have that direction, you can work backwards from it instead of being like, oh, I'm going to be a successful musician. Like, that doesn't mean anything. There are no successful musicians, really. Everybody's just doing what they think is best for them. So you have to do the same thing. What is best for you? What do you want to do? Do you want to just produce music? Do you want to produce beats? Do you want to have collaborations with artists? Do you want to raise money with your music? Do you want to hold events with bands? There's so many different possibilities. So I urge you to take a look at it, write down your goals, write down where you want to be, and then work backwards, see what the steps are to get there. And you'll get there. If you have focus and you have direction, I guarantee you it will happen. So, a lot of stuff to be said there, apparently. Anyway, that's kind of all I want to talk about today. Just take that with you, and if you're feeling discouraged about anything, you're feeling kind of this pressure pushing down on you, figure out where that pressure is coming from, if it's healthy, if it's coming from you, or if it's this impossible thing that you can't actually reach. And yeah, I think we should all agree that it's probably not in your cards to be the next Taylor Swift or the next Justin Bieber. I'm not expecting that for me, and if you don't expect that for you, then I think that's okay. So decide what you want to be. You want to be the next what? Or maybe you want to be the first, whatever. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for making it all the way to episode 25. I may be taking a short hiatus, not for too long, just probably a couple weeks or a month, just to focus on some other things. I do have some cool projects coming up, so I'm doing a full drum course, which will be online shortly. Working on writing the script and stuff for that, working on the lessons. Bunch of work with Foxtracks Music, which go check us out if you haven't yet, foxtracksmusic.com. We also have a cool event coming up at the end of this year in December. That's a fundraiser for a local venue, so keep your eyes open for that. And I'll be around on YouTube. I'm not going anywhere. I'm probably going to be doing some more curated videos on specific content, trying to do some lessons and stuff like that. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Cheers.